10 years ago, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World was still a relatively obscure comic book series from Brian Lee O'Malley, only really getting widespread recognition when famed director Edgar Wright of the Shaun of the Dead and other titles in the Three Flavors Cornetto trilogy helmed a film adaptation of the 6 graphic novel series into a major motion picture. Launching alongside the film, Ubisoft Montreal released an RPG brawler that turned the cult classic series into one of the most recognizable entries of its genre. Once fought lost to licensing hell and left behind on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 generation, Ubisoft has finally re-released Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game, in a complete edition across all modern platforms. The game, which loosely follows the events of the graphic novel series, lets players play as Scott Pilgrim, Kim Pine, Ramona Flowers, Stephen Stills, Knives Chow, and Wallace Wells. Choosing either single player or multiplayer modes, players must battle through 7 levels filled with hordes of enemies. At the end of every level, players will find one of Ramona's 7 evil exes that will do anything to make sure that Scott and Ramona do not end up together. With different abilities and characters to choose from, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game, is a game for longtime fans of the series and for those who are just picking up the game for the first time. Another major aspect of this game is earning money and shopping for items. Players earn money from defeating enemies or entering in some special dimensions that are scattered across the level. There are several shops in certain areas that players can visit to purchase 3 different types of items: snacks, meals, and accessories. Snacks and meals replenish some heart and gut points, as well as giving some experience points as well. However, meals can only be purchased in restaurants, while snacks can be equipped for later use. Players can only take 1 snack at a time, so be mindful of the effects that snacks can have at your character. Accessories can be equipped to improve a character's overall attributes, like defense, speed, willpower, and strength. Having spent a significant amount of time playing the game, purchasing items is a unique addition to the beat-em-up games. Rather than just picking up items, it gives players a sense that they're fully in control of their experience playing the game. It's an important element since these different items can turn the fight in your favor. However, some of the items that give better power-ups cost a little bit more. It's safer to collect as much money as one can before purchasing the more expensive items. There are 7 stages total, each with their own midpoint checkpoints and phases. Players will have 3 difficulties to select from, though even the average Joe difficulty can offer challenge to newcomers. Even better, you can invite up to 3 friends to tackle each stage with you. While the game does offer online multiplayer, in all honesty, it's the biggest issue with this game. The online matchmaking doesn't offer much flexibility, and if you manage to start a stage, it will almost break up in an instant. In multiple attempts, I had screens freezing, stages halt progress, strange error codes, and much more. It's best to say that this is one to enjoy with friends locally if you can, as hopping online will likely just frustrate you even more. Hopefully it gets a patch to improve the online experience because it drastically needs it. At the end of each stage awaits a unique boss battle. Some bosses will be simple like Matthew Patel and his demon hipster chicks, while others like the Katanagi twins will fight you with a giant robot. Nice! While the boss battles are fun, there is a certain inconsistent nature about their AI. Sometimes you'll go into a fight and wipe the floor with a boss as they struggle to even pull off a move. Others you'll get caught in the pattern where they'll be using all types of crazy moves to annihilate you. I suppose this just depends on the skill, but I had both experience against practically all the bosses. Either way, the varied nature to how these bosses are presented is pretty amazing. One of the most remarkable things to fame for the Scott Pilgrim game is the Anamaguchi chiptune soundtrack. There's a certain magic to the background music that makes it energize you. The Scott Pilgrim franchise is no stranger to music, especially with several of the characters being part of bands. Even the movie has one of my favorite film soundtracks of all time. It's great that the game found a way to integrate music with such unique taste that feels right at home. Of course, part of this is also the sound design, as the music will play most of the time. Sometimes, like during the subspace highways for example, music will be muted. It really makes those areas feel more tense and abstract, especially paired with the visuals. Boasting fantastic pixel art and animation from Paul Robertson, the game gives itself life with every frame. The style manages to take just enough from Brian Lee O'Malley's drawings while still giving off its own vibes. It's also a game made using the recently departed Adobe Flash, which makes it even more impressive. Either way, the game will resonate with fans of classic retro titles, especially those in the arcades. Little nods to games like Sonic the Hedgehog, Pac-Man, Super Mario, and more help to bring this game closer to their source material. While online multiplayer is easily the biggest flaw with the game, there's still some other issues with the design of the game. Players have the ability to summon allies for quick attack, though they almost feel much likely pointless. They usually don't do enough to matter, and they just use variable guts points. Another issue that I have come is from various input responses, mainly in shops. It's pretty frustrating to make a purchase only to wait a few seconds to either purchase something else or even leave the store. There's an occasional bug here or there, but nothing that will break the game. Of course, the game did crash on me after my first time beating Todd Ingram, so perhaps there's more that I'm not seeing. Luckily, the game doesn't cost much and it doesn't overstay its welcome. Thanks to this being the complete edition, the game collects all the content in a nice package. Players no longer have to unlock modes like Boss Rush mode or even Survival Horror, as the game makes them available from the start. The previously downloadable Dodgeball and Battle Royale modes are also available from the start. Even though there's not a lot to gain from them, you still earn money and experience for playing it. It also helps to give players some practice with their moves. Oh, but also I have to remind you one thing: if you're going to play Dodgeball and Survival, you need to have at least a couple of players, because, well, there isn't online modes in these type of games, so good luck with that. Overall, while the online experience is in severe need of fine-tuning, I really enjoyed playing Scott Pilgrim vs. the World of the game. A lot of the excitement for the game came from nostalgia, but playing it ultimately increased the appreciation I had for the original game. With most of the mechanics still the same, it wasn't too difficult to pick up the game and get used to the controls. This game offers non-stop action with a story that new and old fans will have fun playing. We just need to have an end to this pandemic so we can see our friends again and have a great time. If you're a fan of the graphic novels or even the movie, you'll likely have something to love about this game. Come for the fantastic pixel art style, stay for the Anamaguchi music. This is still the classic we deserve after half a decade, and I can't recommend it enough for you to try it out.